I'm tired of pretending I'm happy. David gives me what you never could. That's what my wife wrote in the note. She also emptied our joint account, $189,000. What she didn't know was what I kept in the safety deposit box. My name is Mike Dawson. I'm 39 years old. I worked as a sales manager in Charlotte, North Carolina for almost 15 years now. Been married to Jessica for 12 of those years. 2 kids, Ben's 10, Sarah's 8. We had this life we built together. House in the suburbs, family dog, weekend barbecues, you know, the whole package. I always thought we were not perfect, but solid, stable. Jessica was a paralegal before the kids. Smart woman, really smart. After Sarah was born, she decided to stay home for a while. Said she'd go back eventually, never did. Said she was happy with our arrangement. That week in May, I had to go to Chicago. Annual sales conference. 3 days of PowerPoints and networking. Mandatory stuff. I called home every night, talked to the kids. Jessica sounded normal, maybe a little distant, but I figured she was just tired. Dealing with the kids alone isn't easy. I flew back on a Friday night, got home around 9. The house was quiet, too quiet, no kids. Jessica had dropped them at her mother's for the weekend. That wasn't unusual. What was unusual was opening our bedroom closet and seeing half of it empty. Her half, cleaned out. There was a note on the kitchen counter, white paper. Her handwriting, I'm tired of pretending I'm happy. David gives me what you never could. The kids will be fine. They'll adjust. David Parker. My college roommate. The guy who was the best man at our wedding. The guy who'd been over for dinner at least twice a month for years. That David. I stood there reading the note again and again. Like maybe the words would change if I just looked hard enough. They didn't. I didn't call her, didn't text. I sat down at the kitchen table and opened our banking app on my phone. That's when I really understood what was happening. Our joint account, $189,000 we'd been saving for the kids' college funds, was empty. One withdrawal, made the previous day. All of it, gone. I remember just staring at the screen, the transaction history, the big fat zero where our savings used to be. 12 years of putting money aside every month. For Ben and Sarah, for their future. See, Jessica had always handled our finances. She was good with numbers, detail-oriented. I trusted her completely with that stuff. Never questioned it. I checked our other accounts. Checking was still there, but low, just enough for regular bills. The credit cards were maxed out, new charges I didn't recognize, hotels, restaurants, places I hadn't been. I poured myself a glass of water, didn't want alcohol, needed to think clearly. Then I called my attorney, Robert Mendez, had his number from a business deal a few years back. He answered even though it was almost 10 on a Friday night. Jessica left, I told him, took all our savings. I'm sorry to hear that, Mike, he said. Unfortunately, in North Carolina, she's entitled to half of your marital assets. I understand, I replied. Then I asked him, but is she entitled to what's in the safety deposit box? There was a pause on the line. Depends what's in it, he said. I think we should meet. Monday morning. I'll clear my schedule. I hung up and sat in the quiet house. Didn't turn on the TV, didn't call anyone else, just sat there thinking. See, what Jessica didn't know is that I'd been paying attention, more than she realized. It started about 6 months earlier. Little things at first. Jessica getting text messages and walking out of the room to answer them. New clothes I never saw her wear. Unexplained absences. Meeting with friends. That she didn't talk about afterwards. I'm not the jealous type. Never have been. But I am observant. It's what makes me good at my job. Reading people, noticing patterns. Something was off, so I watched. Didn't confront her. Didn't snoop through her phone. I just paid attention. There was a charge at a hotel downtown on our credit card statement. Jessica said it was a spa day with her friend Lisa. I called Lisa a week later about something else. Casually mentioned how nice it was that they got to spend time together at the spa. Lisa had no idea what I was talking about. That's when I started keeping records, not because I wanted to catch her, just to protect myself. to know what was really happening. I created a separate email account, started forwarding bank statements there, credit card bills, screenshots of strange expenses, a $500 dinner at a restaurant I'd never been to, a weekend charge at a bed and breakfast 2 hours away when she was supposedly at her sister's. And then I saw David's car outside our house one afternoon. I'd come home early, stomach bug. His BMW was parked 2 blocks down, not in our driveway, 2 blocks away, like he was hiding it. I drove past it, went to a coffee shop, worked from there the rest of the day, called Jessica to say I'd be home late. She sounded relieved. That night, I went to the bank and opened a safety deposit box in my name only, started putting copies of everything there, bank statements, credit card bills, photos of David's car near our house on days I was supposed to be gone. I wasn't planning anything, not really, just documenting, just in case. And there was something else in that safety deposit box, something Jessica had forgotten about, something from the beginning of our marriage. I'll get to that. The weekend after she left, I didn't try to contact her, didn't call her mothers to talk to the kids, though that was hard. I knew they were safe. I needed these 2 days. First, I went to the bank and took what little money was left in our checking account, opened a new account in my name only. Then I went to our safety deposit box. Inside was a USB drive with all the financial records, dates, times, amounts, evidence of what had been happening for months, and the other thing, our prenuptial agreement. See, when we got married, Jessica's father insisted on it. He had some money, not a lot, but some, wanted to protect it for her. The irony was, the agreement protected both of us. It had a fidelity clause, a big one. If either party was unfaithful, they forfeited claims to certain assets. Jessica signed it 12 years ago. I don't think she ever read it carefully, or maybe she just forgot about it over the years. Her father passed away 5 years ago. Maybe she thought it didn't matter anymore. It mattered. There was one more thing in that box, the deed to a cabin in the mountains. My father left it to me when he died. It wasn't much, 2 bedrooms, small kitchen, big porch, but it was solely in my name, inherited before we were married. Not a marital asset. Jessica knew about it, but had only been there twice. Said it was too rustic for her taste. I spent the rest of Saturday making calls, setting up mail forwarding, changing passwords on our streaming accounts, our Amazon, our shared cloud storage, not to be petty, to contain the damage. Sunday morning, I drove to the cabin, checked that everything was working, the power, the water, made sure it was livable. Then I drove back to Charlotte and waited. Monday morning, I met with Robert at his office, showed him everything, the prenup, the evidence of Jessica's affair, the financial records showing the money she'd taken. "This is good, Mike," he said after reviewing it all. "Very good. We'll file for divorce immediately. Request temporary orders regarding the marital assets. With this documentation, we have a strong case." "What about the money she took?" I asked. "We'll ask the court to freeze any accounts where she might have deposited it," he said. "With proof of the withdrawal and these records of her activities, the judge will likely order at least half returned to you and the house. We'll file Ellis Pendens, a notice that there's pending litigation affecting the property. She won't be able to sell it without court approval." I nodded. "And the kids?" Robert looked at me carefully. "Do you want custody?" "Yes," I said without hesitation, "full custody. That's a high bar in North Carolina, but with the abandonment angle and these financial records showing irresponsibility, we have a shot." I signed the paperwork, all of it, then went to work like it was any other Monday. Around noon, my phone rang. Jessica's number. I let it go to voicemail. "Mike, the bank is saying something about a fraud alert on our account. Call me back." I didn't. 2 hours later, another call. "Mike, this is serious. The bank has frozen everything. I need to talk to you." I texted her one word, "attorney." Then I turned my phone off and focused on my sales reports. That evening, there was a knock at the door. David, standing on my porch looking uncomfortable, not so confident now. "Mike, man, we should talk," he said. I looked at him. This man who had been in my wedding photos, who had held my son when he was a newborn, who had betrayed 12 years of friendship. No, I said, and closed the door. By Thursday, things were moving fast. Robert had filed everything with the court. Jessica had been served with papers. The bank had confirmed a freeze on any new accounts in her name due to the suspicious transfer. I got a text from her. "You can't do this to me. To us. We need to talk." I forwarded it to Robert without replying to her. At Thursday night, she showed up at the house. I was packing some of my things, planning to move to the cabin temporarily after the initial hearing. "You changed the locks," she said when I opened the door. "Yes, this is my house too. The court will decide that." I kept packing. "Mike, look at me. 12 years together and you won't even look at me." I did look at her then. She was wearing a new dress. Her hair was done. Like she was going somewhere special after this conversation. "Where are the kids?" I asked. "Still at Mom's. They're fine. I'm picking them up tomorrow." "No, you're not. They're staying with me. The hearing is tomorrow at 9. Your presence is required. I suggest you find someone to watch them." She stared at me like I was a stranger. "What happened to you?" That almost made me laugh. Almost. "Nothing happened to me, Jessica. I just finally saw you clearly. I made a mistake. I admit that. But taking all this legal action, freezing accounts, changing locks, this isn't you. You took $189,000 from our children's future," I said quietly. "That's not a mistake. That's a plan." I was angry. I wasn't thinking clearly. "Where's the money, Jessica?" She looked away. "I can't access it right now." "Where's David?" Her face changed, just slightly. A tightening around the eyes. "That's complicated. 9 a.m. Family court. Don't be late." I went back to packing. She left without another word. The hearing went exactly as Robert predicted. Jessica showed up alone. No David, no attorney yet. She'd been scrambling, unprepared. The judge was a woman in her 60s, sharp eyes, no nonsense. She reviewed our prenuptial agreement first, then the evidence of the affair, then the financial records. "Mrs. Dawson," she said, "you withdrew $189,000 from a joint account without your husband's knowledge or consent." Yes, Your Honor, but half of that money is rightfully mine. Perhaps that will be determined. Where is the money now? Jessica hesitated. "Some of it is not accessible at the moment," meaning I invested it. I saw Robert make a note. "Without consulting your husband." "Yes. And these hotel charges, these restaurant bills, were these investments as well?" Jessica's face flushed. "No, Your Honor." The judge continued through the evidence methodically. By the end, she granted the temporary orders. The house would remain in my possession until final determination. Jessica was ordered to provide a full accounting of all funds within 7 days. Temporary custody of the children was granted to me, with Jessica having supervised visitation. As we left the courtroom, Jessica grabbed my arm. "This isn't over," she said. "Actually, it is," I replied. "You just don't realize it yet." That afternoon, I picked up Ben and Sarah from their grandmother's, explained that they'd be staying with me at Grandpa's cabin for a while, that Mom and Dad were having some adult problems, but that both of us loved them very much. Sarah cried a little. Ben just nodded, serious beyond his years. Kids understand more than we give them credit for. Over the next few weeks, things fell into place. The court ordered Jessica to return half of the money she'd taken, what she still had access to, about $70,000. The rest, it turned out, had been transferred to David, who had promptly disappeared after the court froze Jessica's accounts. The divorce proceedings continued. Jessica finally hired an attorney, but the prenup held strong. The evidence was too clear, the fidelity clause too specific. In the end, I got the house, which I immediately put up for sale, full custody of the kids, with Jessica having standard visitation after she completed a financial management course ordered by the court. She got to keep her car and her personal belongings. That was about it. David never resurfaced, at least not in Charlotte. I heard rumors he went to Florida, started over. Left Jessica to face everything alone. That was 8 months ago. We live in the cabin now, me, Ben, and Sarah. I fixed it up, added another bathroom, built bunk beds for the kids. They've adjusted well. They see their mother every other weekend. It's cordial, distant. She's found work as a receptionist at a dental office. Starting over. The house in Charlotte sold last month. I put the money in separate college funds for the kids. Ironclad trusts that neither Jessica nor I can touch. I've changed too. More careful now. More deliberate in my choices. The kids notice. Ben asked me recently why I don't get angry when things go wrong. I told him that anger rarely solves problems. Preparation does. Last week, I got a letter from Jessica, handwritten, perfumed. We should talk about us, it said, about trying again, for the kids, for what we had. I read it twice, then filed it with all the other documentation. Some people mistake silence for weakness, calm for indecision. But sometimes the quietest person in the room is the one you should watch most carefully. Not because they're plotting anything, but because they're listening, observing, preparing. I never wanted revenge, just justice, balance. And now we have it.